So good morning. I'm Sylvia Lacayo, and I have the pleasure of introducing the Clorox team from Dollar General. So Jennifer Schrampf and Erin LeGrand are going to take you through a really interesting and powerful presentation. But let me just set it up real quick. As you're listening to Erin and Jennifer talk about the category management insights that they're able to derive using the 1010 data platform for a key client of theirs, I just want you to keep in mind 3 points. We're going to talk about the charcoal category. They're going to talk about the charcoal category. They were able to use the insights across the board at the basket level, their own insights about customers and shoppers, and about, of course, the category to identify some fair share that the retailer was missing out on. Secondly, like I said, basket level metrics help in assessing these opportunities, something that you may not be able to do if you didn't have that basket level insight. And then lastly, size of the basket and cross-category affinity is really important to be able to enable decision makers to prioritize among key initiatives. So with that, I'll hand it over to the team.
Great, thank you. Hi, I'm Jen Schrampf. I know she already introduced us. This is my coworker, Erin LeGrand, and we're just here to talk to you today about how 1010 data, or the availability of 1010 data, has helped us kind of up our game in growing category sales at Dollar General in the charcoal category. Ooh. Oh.
Well, see, in that
bang.
Off to bang. So, I'm hitting the wrong. It's awesome. Okay, maybe I'm just going to go with the button. So, first question that might come to mind, why the grilling category?
We knew there was an opportunity in the grilling category. We took the opportunity to marry up 1010 data with market data. We're able to diagnose what was the overall market share for Dollar General. Sat at about 5 points, which was on par with their total store. But as you can see in this chart, there was a gross dip. This is correlated with the fact that charcoal was actually only on display January, February through Labor Day. It's a seasonal category at Dollar General. Once you hit off season, all the charcoal came off the shelf.
So why was this important?
There was incentive. So there was incentive not only for us as a company. Obviously, we want to sell more charcoal, right? That's what we wake up and do and get paid for, among other things. So it was important to us to sell more charcoal, but we needed to make it important to the customer. They're a limited assortment environment, so we're working with a really small store. They don't have a lot of space. So to take something like a seasonal item where they're hitting those big pulse periods and show them that they needed to have it to capitalize on times outside of those periods was the nugget that we needed to get to. So by having 1010 data and transactional level data and marrying that with market level data, we were able to put a value on what that market share gap was. So we were able to quantify and say, if you get on board with us and follow the program, we're going to sell more, but you've got $1.1 million annually on the table.
There was a reason to believe. Why did we believe? Dollar General shoppers love to grill.
They're so happy.
So using some of our own custom research data, we knew that Dollar General shoppers love to grill. We knew that they were grilling year-round on 27 separate grilling occasions. And we also knew that they were more likely to grill on charcoal versus gas. So we had a reason to believe.
We also knew that Kingsford was the right partner. So again, we're talking about it's important to us to sell more, but we have to make it more important to our customer to sell more also. So when we're looking at, is Kingsford valuable to them to sell more of, the answer is yes. By looking at basket level data in 1010, we are able to communicate that, you know what, your average basket is $10.81, but when someone buys a grilling accessory or a grilling product, that basket goes up to $17.14. So it's a much more valuable shopper, it's a much more valuable basket, and we have the right to win and drive that basket with Kingsford because the Kingsford basket is even bigger than the average grilling basket. So again, it's important to us, but it also should be important to you, and that's how we were able to grab their attention.
So we had all this data. We knew they had a right to win. What did we do next? Internally, we came up with a 3-point plan, 3 simple steps. We knew what we needed to do to activate. We needed to make charcoal easy to shop for their shopper, and they needed to be able to shop it year-round.
We needed to build the charcoal basket, so not only did we want to sell more charcoal, but we wanted to sell bigger baskets. So we wanted more items in the basket with charcoal.
And we knew we had an opportunity to activate in store.
So step 1, how did we make charcoal easy to shop? Really what we needed was an easy button. So our 2 big problems were the product is not available in store year-round, so we needed something to make it available in store year-round. Again, we're working in a limited assortment environment. And we also need to get it to the front of store where shoppers are making impulse purchase decisions. Anyone selling anything knows that you want it in the front of store, not in the middle or the back. So people say, oh, they've got charcoal. Our solution was a grilling center rack. So not only were we able to solve the solution of there's not enough space on the shelf, we created a new shelf for you. But we also can move that shelf because it's on wheels, and you can put it at the front of store whenever it makes sense to do that.
What do we do from there? What stores should get a rack? Okay, it was unrealistic. At the time we launched this program, I think Dollar General was probably about a 10,000 store chain. We realistically knew that from the get-go, we couldn't just shove out 10,000 racks.
Like that was a beautiful rack, right? It was made of.
And that's actually version 2. That's actually V2. There was a rack before that rack. We knew we needed to identify the stores that were going to give not only us the biggest bang for our buck, but also Dollar General. So this was great. We were able to use several data sources and partners in which to get there. It started with actually a Spectra report. So shout out, I know 1010 has signed up their partnership with Nielsen. And then we took that demand index and we also pulled sales by store and developed an internal index. This is great. We were allowed to use like uploaded incremental tables. We were using our custom product hierarchy, which we live and die by. And we were able to identify not only the states in which should get a rack, but also the stores that should get a rack. And we continue to go back and refine this store list every single year. We're about 1,000 stores shy of the entire chain having some type of rack at this point.
So instead of a shotgun approach, we were able to get really defined at where we could both look best together. So step 1 was complete. We made charcoal easy to shop. We found our easy button. Now step 2 was to build the charcoal basket. So you can only sell more by 2 different ways. You can get more shoppers in your store, or the shoppers that are in your store can buy more. We wanted to do both. With Sir Mix-a-Lot's help, of course.
So it was great to have a basket segmentation report. And step 1 was trying to get existing buyers who are purchasing charcoal to put 1 more unit of charcoal into their basket. Limited environment. We sell really small bags of charcoal at Dollar General. The market sells really big bags of charcoal. We knew Dollar General shoppers were out there buying those really big bags. We wanted to come up with a program to kind of capture on that big bag purchase with small bags. We knew from the get-go, as of like before we ever started, just under 7% of Dollar General shoppers were putting 2 units of small bag charcoal in. We're like, hey, what if we did a 2-for program? So we incented them, hey, buy 2 for $8. You get a little bit of a sale, and then we get that incremental purchase. The reason why this was important, and if any of you were in the Johnson & Johnson presentation, she touched on it. It helped us communicate the value to Dollar General of the 2-for program. More importantly, it helped us estimate our liability. So we use the basket segmentation report, honestly, in so much promotional evaluation, not only forecasting our liability going in, but taking a look at performance afterwards.
And it helps our team understand what they can afford to do. So again, it's great when your customer buys something from you, but you have to be able to afford to execute against it. So we know our subsidized baskets, what we're paying for existing customers right through the gates. And then we can quantify how that shift happens to measure if we were successful or not.
So step one, get more charcoal units in the basket.
Step two of step two was to get other things in the basket with charcoal. So we again utilized 1010's basket affinity reporting to say what's already in the basket that makes sense. So we know people are usually grilling when they buy charcoal. It would make sense that they're buying things like hot dog buns, hamburger buns, soda, paper products, things that you would bring to have a family gathering or a friend gathering. That's great to say, hey, we know this is happening, but it's even better to be able to prove it. So we're able to prove out through the data, these are our best partner opportunities. These people are already having this behavior. How do we get them together and buy more charcoal and buy more products? And when they're in your store, although you're not a stock-up store, maybe they can start spending a little bit more than they were before.
Okay, so this is how that data came to life. It came to life in a program called Gather Around the Grill. This was executed with other vendor partners with Dollar General's complete buy-in. And again, the data helped us sell not only Dollar General valuable ad space, we need you to put this up in store, we need displays around it, but it also helped us to garner other vendor support in the program.
Okay, so our final step in our 3-point plan was to activate in store. So there are very specific triggers and behaviors that surround charcoal purchasing and usage.
Great weather is the #1 trigger that drives charcoal purchase. And we know most grillers grill on the weekend. So what's great about having access to like the transactional level data at Dollar General versus sometimes the syndicated data, not only are we able to get by week, we're able to get by day data. And we were able to prove out that 65% of Dollar General's charcoal purchases take place on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So we know great weather activates grilling. We know that most of our charcoal purchases are made on the weekend. We took these two insights and married them together and came up with the Great Grilling Weather Activation Program in conjunction with Weather International.
Just rolls off the tongue.
Yeah, I know. Great Grilling Program. Basically what happens is Weather International on Wednesday of each week sends a store list to Dollar General that says, these stores are supposed to have great weather this weekend. Dollar General in turn takes that information and pushes it out to the stores and encourages the stores with great grilling weather to make sure they've got their rack pulled to the front of the store, that it's stocked, and that they're ready to go.
Okay, so what were our results? They were actually pretty incredible. Like DJ Khaled, all we do is win.
Okay, so step 1, make charcoal easy to shop. Stores that executed the racks grew at twice the rate of stores with unexecuted racks, and we've been able to validate this for like 3 years running. As I mentioned, each year we add like another 1,000 racks, and we go back and manage it, and consistently stores that have racks grow at 2 times the size of stores without racks.
As far as building the basket size grew by 10%. So that's pretty incredible.
And when it came to activating in store, stores that executed against the Nice Grilling Weather program actually grew 7 points higher than stores that did not initially participate in the program. So we did see a benefit out of just giving all those stores a gentle reminder
hey, you can see a lot of grillers this weekend, be prepared.
Not only that, but our seasonality gap that we addressed in the beginning of our presentation was cut in half.
Dollar General gained over 3 points of charcoal market share as a result.
And in general, sales velocities grew by 74%.
So if you can't tell, we have a lot of passion around the grilling charcoal category. And what we just kind of presented to you was over a course of several years, but we're constantly pushing and asking ourselves, what's next, and how can 1010 Data be our partner in that? We want to keep the momentum going. So things that are under consideration is how can we leverage trip mission data? How can we leverage our buy store analytics to determine like clustering or targeting? Where can we take the granularity of our data just to continue to accelerate velocities in specific stores and in key states?
All right, the floor is open to questions.
You all just want to eat, don't you?
Did you have the right combo of items on the rack, or was it just the store total? Like, how did that work? Because when you showed the picture of the rack, it looked like there was charcoal and lighter fluid.
That's all that's on it.
Okay.
You
That's
have
all
to-
that's supposed to be on.
That's all that's, yeah, let's be very clear. That's all that's supposed to be on it. We've toyed with like trying to put food items on it because stores can pull it out in front and it could potentially sit in the sun. We actually have to be really careful about what goes on the rack. There's been discussions about, hey, can we put paper plates on there? You know, we're talking about, you know, and setting these cross purchases and everything. In some cases, there's just not the space on the rack. And then there's just, you know, people are like, no, that's my space. I don't want paper plates on it or whatever. But we do continually to look through to see if there's opportunities to merchandise on that rack. They also will do tear pads and stuff. So that rack gets a lot of leverage.
Got it, okay.
And we can,
Basically, the higher basket size was based on like the 2 for plus lighter fluid.
In general, Kingsford has a higher basket size. I do know that there is already a fairly good incidence of lighter fluid almost always being in the charcoal basket. And they've done different iterations of the 2 for program, whether it be sometimes, I think they did, well, I know we did a program that was buy any 2 Kingsford items and save $2. But it was all across like our $4 to $4.85 range. And every single time we do it, we see pretty good lift on it. They've since started to move into larger charcoal bags, so our reliance on that program isn't as needy as it once was.
and the rack more address the distribution gap where you can gain your most growth in sales velocity by actually having the product available in a significant portion of time that it was not available in the store at all.
You could not buy charcoal
Why weren't sales zero then during that time when?
residual inventory that gets tucked somewhere in a store.
Yeah, that will still scan 5 years later.
Does DG have a private label charcoal, and if so, where is it merchandised in relevance to the rack?
It's only merchandised in line in season. So yes, they do have private label charcoal. There is a 4 to 8 foot set that is available in store February through Labor Day. Once that seasonal set goes away,
So my follow-up to that is during that season, do you guys have 2 locations, or is your home location the rack and that's the only location?
we have 2 locations.
Okay.
Not all products exist in both places. So we have a couple products that exist only in the set, and when that goes off season, that product's no longer available. We usually try and keep higher velocity movers on the rack and in round full season.
But with like private label product, when there is residual inventory, you'll see things like U-boats in the
Yeah.
store and, you know, those types of wheeled merchandise vehicles also. Whether they're trying to keep inventory longer or just getting through the inventory from the season.
Has 1010 helped you like see execution, rack execution errors and like pinpoint stores that maybe are not executing correctly? Have you studied that capacity?
So the racks are planogrammed. We do have planogram information. We do know what stores are traded with racks. We can make educated guesses based on velocity movements, but are we truly able to see, like if there is an item that's carried only on the rack, we can kind of follow along that, but like, no. I know what you're asking, and no, you truly can't track the rack. Again, there's secondary placement, there's not secondary UPCs.
But we do have availability to inventory reporting through our platform, and so we can look at the customer's inventory and see if there's been no significant moves in inventory, or if there's been a dip in inventory, then that's probably that correlates with a sales decline. Then it's probably an out of stock or execution issue, and not necessarily the product is not moving.
It'll start us like asking the questions if we see something like that.
When you guys are identifying stores to focus on, can you explain again what metrics you use to build that custom indexer?
I knew you were going to ask this. It was done a long time ago, not by this one. But I do know that we initially pulled a Spectra report, a demand index, so we kind of started getting by state. So from a Spectra perspective, they got us kind of, hey, these are probably the key states. I'm going to be honest with you guys, it's fairly intuitive. The warmer the state, the longer the grilling season, the better your charcoal sales. But Spectra did come in and confirm that for us. So we knew what states to target, and we started there and then pulled the by store and just kind of developed here's a store average in charcoal sales, and then which of those stores over or under indexed versus like the chain average, and we just started from there.
So I'm assuming you do this kind of analysis for other accounts, maybe with the 1010 data. And I'm curious what kind of time savings, efficiency, feasibility, what have you realized in this instance where you have the access to the 1010?
So we are exclusively tied to the Dollar General account for Clorox.
Okay.
So no, I don't, but I've been doing this a while. So I don't even know if it's the speed. To me, it's the granularity of the data. I've spent a good portion of my career using, audited data, and you can't get to day a week. You can't get today. And the fact that like we can actually see what's in a basket. Whereas when you're using syndicated data, you can usually get to that through panel, but panel has its own set of challenges. Whereas like this is the really. So all I want now is for Dollar General to get a shopper card loyalty program.
Well, and we are able to use the information outside of our account when we're selling back internally. So like we mentioned, the racks aren't cheap. We can't get them out to every store, but when we can put a great story together for our invested partners internally and say, hey, this what happens, we can show an ROI very quickly and continue to prove out to them that this is a great investment that continues to pay back.
And so they continue to give us the money. I mean, we can prove an ROI by store. We can tell them how fast that rack pays for itself. Anything else? Thank you very much.
Thank you.